Okay, folks. So welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be giving you a little crash course in a kind of a strange poker variant that some of you mightn't heard of. It's called Deuce to Seven Triple Draw, and it's one of the most fun poker games to play, if you ask me. So what happens in Deuce to Seven Triple Draw is you get 5 cards dealt to you, and your goal is to make the worst possible hand with those 5 cards. Sorry, now at the moment I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm just talking to you guys. So, okay, your goal is to make the worst possible hand, and straights and flushes do count against you in triple draw, okay? So that means the worst possible hand you can make is 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So that counts as the nuts in Deuce to Seven triple draw. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So the way you read your hand value in triple draw is if you read it like as a 5-digit number, starting with the highest, then the lowest number wins, if you get me. So I would read this as 87632, and that would be 87642, for example. So the thing to always do is to arrange your hand into like a 5-digit number, starting with the highest one, and then the lower that number is, the better after that. Okay, so I'm involved in a low stakes game on PokerStars here, so it's just 25 cent, 50 cent limit. I probably played that last hand terribly because I couldn't concentrate on what I was doing when I was talking. But we're just going to get into a little bit of the strategy of the game for the next, I don't know how many minutes that we're going to be playing here on Stars. Okay, so as I was saying, your goal is to make the worst possible 5-card hand. There's 3 draws in the game for you to draw at your low hand. Okay, so you've basically got 3 chances to make a low hand in triple draw. So strategy wise, again, like most games, position is really important. You can see here that I've only got 2 decent cards here in this hand, but because I'm on the button, I'm just going to raise it up. I have position. I'm going to try and steal the blinds and draw 3 here. So this guy's re-raised me, and it's just an easy call. You never basically ever fold to a 3-bet or a re-raise in triple draw. So let's see, he'll probably just draw 1 after 3-betting here, and he does. I draw 3, and I hit pretty well, so I have an 8-7 draw here. He's going to bet almost every single time here, so I've got a call. I'm getting really good pot odds here, so I just need to hit 1 card, and so does he. So we miss again. He checks. I'm going to check too, so he obviously missed again. And at the end, we draw a queen, which is a really bad hand in triple draw. He checks to us. We could win this hand. He might have paired up or something. And he drew a king. Okay, so we won the hand just about. Just remember as well that pairs are obviously bad in triple draw, you know, because a pair is worse than a low hand, or worse than sort of a high card hand. So the idea, as I was trying to say, it's kind of difficult to play this game and talk at the same time. The idea is to play sort of as low value cards as possible, and for the most part what you want to be doing is just playing 2-card draws. So that means if you've got 3 cards lower than 8 in your hand, that's what you want to be looking at to start off the hand. So if you don't have 3 cards lower than 8 in your hand, it's time to give up. So here I've got 2, 3, 5. Okay, now I am out of position, but it's an easy raise. 2, 3, 5 is a really good hand to start off with in triple draw. It's a premium 2-card draw here. So we're going to discard 2. We pick up the 7. So now we've got a draw to the nuts here. He draws 3, so we're way ahead of this guy here. So we're just going to go ahead and cap if at all possible here, because we're way ahead of him after he drew 3. We hit the perfect card on the second draw here, so he's going to bet. We're going to raise, and we're just going to win a big pot off him here on the river. So I'm just going to bet once, and he'll call on the end here, whatever he has. So the nuts it's really nice to draw the nuts at triple draws we did there. But okay, so I've got a 4-card draw here, but the problem with this one here is that we are drawing to a straight. So we've got 4, 6, 7, 8. So a 5 is no good to us here, and a 9 gives us a really bad hand. So even though we had 4 cards less than an 8, we had no potential to make a really good hand here. The thing you really want to be doing in triple draw is drawing to 7 lows. So to start off with 3 cards 7 or lower. Now, obviously, as I said earlier on, drawing to 3 cards 8 or lower is good, and that becomes the case when you get a little bit better at the game. But in the early going, you're best off sort of trying to make sevens, if you know what I mean. So trying to draw to a 7 low. So start off with 3 cards lower than a 7. Now, again, position is important. So if you're under the gun, you can tighten up your opening range a little bit. And if you're on the button, then you can basically steal. Even if you've got 2 cards 7 or lower on the button, you can open raise and try and take down the blinds and maybe just draw out on your opponent there. So this guy's complaining like crazy because we hit a 7 on him there last time, but such is life. So yeah, hopefully we'll get into some interesting hands in this little mini session here, and hopefully I've taught you a little bit about how to start off playing the game. It's a limit game, so you're always going to be getting pretty good pot odds to stick around and draw at your hand. So deuce 3 4 8 is a really good starting hand here. Now, because this guy re-raised me, I think he's going to draw at a 7. So what I'm going to do is call and get rid of the 8 and the ace here. So he's discarded 1. Okay, actually, because this is, yeah, okay, I'm going to discard 2 here. Going to call here once and discard 2 again. And now I'm just going to give up at this stage. So when he re-raises me there, I think maybe in retrospect I should have held on to the 8 and drawn to the deuce 3 4 8. But only a small mistake there. So we've got an absolute crap hand here that we're just going to have to discard all our cards. Wow, that's a really good draw out of nowhere. An 8 or a deuce here is going to almost win us the hand. Not bad for a discard all situation. So we bet out into the pot. Try and take it down. So we get 1 caller. This guy discards 2 again. So we're pretty far ahead of him. We hit our 8 here. Now it's not a great 8. It's an 8 7 6, which is one of the weaker 8s. But we'll stand pat again here. And this guy is drawing 2 all the way to the end, so we'll bet on the river. He might be a little bit suspicious of us discarding all and then somehow running into an 8, and indeed he was, and he called us on the river. So I look back at the previous hand there and I see he called us with a 10 there, so he was really suspicious of us. He had a 10 low in that case. So hopefully, as I was saying, you're getting the idea of how the game is played, and hopefully I'm making some sense, even though my thought process keeps getting interrupted by having to play some hands. So yeah, another sort of important key point in triple draws is to always bet when you're ahead. So if your opponent draws 2 and you draw 1, you always have an advantage there, and you should always bet at those pots. So we get a really good starting hand again here. So we're going to draw at the deuce 4 6 8. So this is a pretty good 1 card draw. So we're going to re-raise this guy here with our 1 card draw and draw to the 8 6. So we're getting lots of money into the pot here, into this multi-way pot. The fact that it's a multi-way pot almost makes me want to draw to a 7 at this point. This is a really awkward spot now with 5 people in the pot, and nobody's going to fold. Good chance that everyone has each other's cards, so let's see what everybody does here. 2 2 2. Okay, I'm just going to discard 1 here. We pair up here, so that's not a great situation. So there's no point really in betting here now anymore when we didn't improve, and this guy leads out into the field. So we'll just call, getting massive pot odds of about 10 to 1 there or more on the call, like 15 to 1. So that guy's standing pat now, which you'd expect him to after leading out. But he went from 2 cards on the first draw, I think, to pat on the second draw, so he's not necessarily all that strong. He might have just run into some sort of 8. So again, we're getting about 13 to 1 here on a call, so we're just going to make the call, try and hit a 3, a 5 or a 7, and probably call the river if we do. Okay, so we miss, and it's just a check fold situation now on the end. So that's a huge pot there, and he had an 8 7, so we were drawing to beat him on the end there, which is pretty good. So I don't know what's happening to my internet here. Oh, okay, we're okay. We just had a little bit of lag there. So Jack 10 3 8 is complete garbage, especially when we're facing a raise in front of us. What I was saying was before I was interrupted there is when it comes to re-raising, to keep yourself balanced, what you should do is re-raise all of your 1 card draws and re-raise none of your 2 card draws. Because if you re-raise your 2 card draws, your good ones, then it's going to be really easy for a decent opponent to tell when you've got a good 2 card draw and when you've got a bad one. For instance, if you re-raise when you've got 2, 3, 5, and you don't re-raise when you've got 4, 6, 7, then when you haven't re-raised and you've drawn 2, your opponent knows for a fact that you're drawn at a pretty rough, poor hand. And that sort of leads me on to the idea of rough and smooth hands. So basically not all 2 card draws are created equally. 4, 6, 7 is kind of a rough enough hand to be drawn at, because you're going to end up making hands like 8, 7, 6, which is on the weaker end of the 8 low spectrum. Whereas if you're drawing a 2, 3, 5, then you're going to be making hands like 7 lows, hands like 8 5s, which are much stronger than rough hands like 8, 7. Okay, so I'm almost tempted with the discount here to call with the 2, 3 and just draw 3, which is a little bit unusual, but this guy Rico entered the pot here just with a dead blind, so I think drawing at the 2, 3, which is a smooth 3-card draw, is good here. Now we drew really well. We have a nut draw here, so I'm just going to lead out into the field. This guy raises us, and he had drawn 2 the first time, so I guess I'm just going to call here and try to hit my 4 or 6. So we'll discard 1 here. No luck this time. He's probably going to be standing pat again here after raising. Again, we easily have the pot odds to call and draw and try and hit a 4 here. And maybe an 8 is also good. Now it looks like I'm having more internet problems as things have frozen up again. Okay, we cut up. So just call the bet, hit a 4, easy game. Check. I don't know, what should I call here? I think I'm just going to raise straight away on this guy and try and get this guy to call 2 bets. And we hit the 7 low again and win a large pot. So as you can see, triple draw is pretty easy when you hit 7s. So there's only 4 possible 7 lows in the game. There's deuce 3, 4, 5, 7, which is the nuts. Deuce 3, 4, 6, 7. Deuce 3, 4, 5, 7. Deuce 3, 4, 6, 7. Deuce 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm totally confusing myself now. Deuce 3, 4, 5, 7. Deuce 3, 4, 6, 7. Deuce 3, 5, 6, 7, and deuce 4, 6, 7. Sorry, yeah, okay. Well, but the moral of the story is that there's only 4 7s in the game, and then the next best hand after a 7 is deuce 3, 4, 5, 8. So that's the 5th best hand in the game. Then after that, deuce 3, 4, 6, 8, and so on as you go up the hands. Sometimes it's good to sort of write them all out for yourself if you're sort of a new player to the game, so you remember what beats what, and just to see basically how far ahead a hand like deuce 3, 4, 6, 8 is ahead of 8, 6, 8, 7, 6, 5 deuce or something like that, because there are a lot of 8s, and a good 8 is far superior to a bad 8. So no reason to get involved with this garbage hand here. Again, we want at least to enter a pot from early position. We want a good 3-card draw to start off with in this game. And another thing that's a sort of an important point or a tip for beginners is to always start off, try and always start off with a deuce in your hand when you're brand new to the game. Because if you think about how the game works and how the hand strengths work, you'll realize that you can't make a 7 if you don't have a deuce in your hand. Every 7 low has a deuce, so that means you can never make a top 5 hand in deuce to 7 triple draw if you don't make a deuce. So already when you start the hand without one, you're sort of lowering your chances of making a really strong hand, and that's going to get you in a little bit more a few more difficult situations as the game goes on, which you probably won't be ready for as a new enough player. So yeah, I mean, it seems like a pretty good game we're involved in here at the moment. This Nate Space guy, who unfortunately we're out of position to, seems to have some idea what's going on, and he seems to be the only one in the game. So we'll stick around for 20 minutes or so, or until the 20-minute mark, and see what happens here. So this guy Mauve has drawn 3 from the big blind. So, or was he in the big blind? He was, yeah. And the other guy drew 2, so it's an obvious bet for him. We have a raise, and they both discard 1. So it looks like Nate Space is going to be pat here after raising after the second draw, and he's pat with a weak enough 8. So it looks like he played that one pretty well. Again, we got a really rough hand here. Okay, we have 3 cards lower than an 8, but they're the 3 worst possible cards lower than an 8, and we're just going to fold here, even with the discount, because it's total crap. Now that's a decent starting hand, deuce 4-5. We're always going to be playing this one. We're not going to re-raise because we don't re-raise our decent 2-card draws. Going to discard 2. We pair up. This guy is going to probably discard. Okay, he discards 1. So I didn't improve, but I'm just going to peel off 1 here, try and improve on the next draw. And we improved to an 8. This guy's standing pat. I don't believe he has to be that strong after raising the button and drawing 1, so I'm going to call and just draw 1 to an 8. So we pair up and we're going to give up. And I sort of assumed he was going to check there because he was weak. So we were right to continue on drawing there. Again, 5, 6, 7, garbage hand. He definitely okay to raise the button with though. And try and win a pot against these guys. So he discards 1. He only discarded 1 and I discarded 2, so it was an easy bet for him there. He should have bet he made a mistake. So I'm going to check back here because I'm definitely behind this guy or close to behind him. Did okay there, but again we're drawing at a straight here with 3, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just going to check and discard 1 on the river and try and get there. So we get there pretty well. Another 7, easy game, bet. Don't expect him to call, and he doesn't. So he just bricked out completely with his draw there. 4, 6, 7. No, I'm not going to play this because I think this Nate Space guy is going to give me some trouble. And 4, 6, 7 is just too weak a 2-card draw to play when you're out of position. So just went for the safe option there and folded it. We'll continue on and play a few more hands. So yeah, again, the sort of the point or the basis of this video is to just show people who've never played this game before the basics of it, the basics of how it works. So I've tried to sort of incorporate as many of the little tips and tricks that I know about the game into it as possible in this 20-minute video. So just sort of the importance of starting off with a deuce, the importance of just playing 2-card draws, not re-raising your good 2-card draws to keep balanced, and always betting when you're a card ahead, and checking back when your opponent is a card ahead but he doesn't bet. That's about it really. So sort of, I suppose, the moral of the story of this video is to just draw to 8s, play solid, and you'll be able to beat these low stakes triple draw games pretty easily. Deuce 3, I might try and steal them. No, okay, so we had a raise on the button from Mau, for however you pronounce it, which we got out of there pretty quick. So we got a bad hand again here, 6, 8, 10. Definitely no interest in getting involved with that. So we're up to 18 minutes now, so I think I'm kind of enjoying this game. So I think I'll play maybe for 5 more minutes. I don't know how much more useful information I can give you about the game. But I'll just play on here and let you see a few more hands develop, and we'll see how we get on. This Nate Space guy seems to be the most competent player at the table. 4, 6, 7 and the cutoff I'm just going to avoid. There's just no point really in playing rough hands like that, because you'll just make enough money when you play solid and play tight, play solid, play decent hands, and extract some good value from them, from guys like this who are just going crazy. I assume that Rico has a 7 here for sure, or maybe not. Maybe they both have 7s. Okay. So I wonder what Rico had there. I'm just going to check the replayer to find out. Okay, so Rico had deuce 3, 4, 5, 8. So that was a number 3 versus a number 5. So that's generally how triple draw hands are referred to in strength. So the number 1 is deuce 3, 4, 5, 7. Number 2 is deuce 3, 4, 6, 7. So there we had a number 3 versus a number 5. So that was two pretty strong hands, and not all that much money went in with them. So 4, 6. Just no need to play this out of position again. Deuce 7, 8. It's really not great. I'll raise with it though and try and steal the blinds. Draw 2 against Nate Space. So we pick up pretty good. Just going to bet here. We're a card ahead of him. Discard 1 here to the 8, 7. Check here because we aren't a card ahead. Going to call 1. Draw to the 10. and check here on the river and just give up. So he hit us. He basically just outdrew us and hit his 9, so that's fair enough. Nothing really we could have done about that hand. I would encourage, like, if when you're starting off, I mean, there was some possibilities of just bluffing there, but you're better off just playing mostly for value in these games against these really bad players until you get a hang of the game. If you want to get into it in more detail, the poker training site, it's a subscription site. It's called Deuces Cracked. They have a couple of video series about how to play triple draw, and they're actually really, really good. I mean, there's probably like 10 hours or more of triple draw coverage across two series, and they'll teach you a lot more about the game than I can do in 20 minutes. And they'll talk a lot more about bluffing and when is a good opportunity to bluff and stuff like that. So I'd recommend, if you're interested in learning the game, that you go there. In terms of where to play it, well, you can see PokerStars is the main place. I suppose it's the main place for all forms of poker. Decent starting hand here, do 7-4. So we'll be playing this. We're just going to call and see how things go. So we're going to be out of position to 8 space again, which is a bit of a pain. But as well as PokerStars, okay, so we drew really good there. So we're going to be putting some money in here again. As well as PokerStars, you can play on the Merge network, which is sites like Carbon Poker and Lock Poker. So Badeki drew 2, Mouth drew 1. We're going to draw 1. We're going to miss, but we're definitely not folding with 1 draw remaining and the pot pretty big. I think we can actually, let me see. I'm going to put in a bet here because I think I have a better draw than at least 2 of these guys. So there's value to be had by betting at our 1 card draw here, trying to hit the 5 or the 8 or the 6. We missed them all. So I'm just going to check and give up here and hope the other guys have paired up, both of them. Pretty unlikely though. Okay, so we got beaten by a 10 in a pretty decent sized pot there. So just going to fold again here. Again, like, the standard in these games is really poor, these low stakes games. So we've gone down to 3-handed now, so I'll just play for a couple of more minutes. Deuce 3, 5, 6, really good starting hand. So we're just going to cap a... No, I'm not going to cap, I'm just going to call here and draw 1. I don't think I'm really far enough ahead of his 3-betting range to cap it here, to put in a 4th bet. So this guy expects to be drawing 1 as well. So we all draw 1. I expect Mouth is obviously pat now when he bets out. He's not going to draw anymore. So we're really just looking for a 7, possibly an 8 here to give us a winner. He's just making his drawing decision. I'm not sure if he's disconnected or he has a tough decision to make. Can't be that tough if he didn't bet. Then he should be drawing. Okay, so he stood pat. Okay, so I'm just going to call once more here. Try and hit the 7. Okay, so we paired up, and that's the end of our involvement in this one. So we're just going to check our fold. So he patted there with a 9, so that's really pretty weak. Multi-way when a few of us are only drawing 1. I'm actually going to draw 3 here because of this button blind situation. So we drew really well here, so I'm just going to bet out. I'm drawing to the nuts here. So that hand just pretty much played itself. Just trying to hit our 7 once we get there again. So 8-7 deuce. I'll play for a raise into the big blind here. Discard 2. Hit straight away. And he folds, unfortunately. When we hit well, he folded straight away. Deuce 3 with all the deuces. So the fact that we have so many deuces means our opponents are extremely unlikely to hit one. So that makes Deuce 3 a good starting hand on the button there. 4, 5, 6 is not a good hand, obviously. Way too many straight possibilities there to make this one playable. Deuce 4, I can No, no, I'm not going to play it from the small blind. So the action can, as you've seen in a few hands, be fast and furious in triple draw games. People act extremely fast, and it's kind of hard to follow the action sometimes. But we've gotten a couple of decent spots, and I've been able to explain my thought process in a few hands. Um, like I tend to play every poker variant, um, just because I enjoy them all so much, and I think playing all the different games helps you in all the other variants. Um, so I'm better obviously at some than others, and I'm sort of jack of all trades, master of none if you want. So I'm not like the world's greatest triple draw player, but I can definitely hold my own in sort of games up to the 1-2 level, or maybe even the 2-4 level, when I'm playing regularly. At the moment, I don't play this game that regularly. I just decided to fire up some tables for the video, so it would be a little bit rusty, but you can be really bad and still win in these games, no problem. So we improved, so we're just going to call ones here, discard 2 again. And we improved again, so we're just going to call 1 again. And now we're going to bet. So we got really lucky there to draw out on him. I don't know what he had that he was checking there. Probably a weak hand. I've seen him show now. Yeah, this guy seems to be drawing to 9s. So I just put it on the screen there. You can see he had a 9. So he seems to like to draw to 9 lows, this guy, which is sort of a poor enough philosophy on how to play the game in a short-handed game. Drawing to 9s is a little bit more acceptable than heads up, where the average winning hand is going to be a lot worse, but I don't recommend it in games where there are 5 or 6 players playing the game. Okay, so I'm just going to play around the table until it's my big blind again, and then I'm going to leave it. So 4-6-8 is okay on the button here to try and steal the blinds. Get re-raised, easy call, never fall to a 3-bet and triple draw. We didn't improve, so I'm just going to fold straight off the bat here. I think we're just way too far behind to continue there. 3, 4, 7, 8. So I'm going to just 3-bet here, try and get a heads up, and then just draw 1. It didn't work. Okay, this is really bad now. So I don't think drawing to an 8 is going to do it anymore. So I'm just going to draw to a 7. Missed. There's so much in the pot here though that we have to call 1 more and draw 2 again. And we missed again, so now it's time to give up. So that was a bit of a mess of a hand, unfortunately. Okay, I'll just play 1 more orbit. That went really quickly, so let me see. I didn't. I'm not sure about how I played that last hand now as such. Anyway, maybe I'll review it afterwards. Okay, yeah, so 1 more orbit will take us up to the half an hour mark, which is sort of perfect. Again, some really weak hands winning some big pots, so you can be sure that this is a pretty decent game going on here. Oh, okay, I've sat out. I forgot to unclick the button. So I guess we'll leave it at that then. So thanks for watching. This has been a little bit longer than I expected, but hopefully you got something out of it and you learned a little bit about how to play triple draw, so that if you sit in at a game, you're not going to be totally clueless as to what's going on, and you're sort of forearmed with some tips and tricks of how to get one up on your opponents. Okay, so hope you enjoyed the video, and please take a look around at my other videos and at Poker WizKid articles. Okay, thanks. Bye.